just always been a curiosity. I grew up in Fairfield, Iowa, with meditating my whole life with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. So I've pretty much been meditating and like exploring like consciousness my whole life. So dreams were just always just there, and I've read about. I would read a lot, and then the movie Waking Life is really interesting about dreams, and then Buddhist philosophy that this is a living dream.
Right.
And I write about that a lot in my poetry.
Cool.
So
I just got a lot of goosebumps. So that's one thing about process work. We pay a lot of attention to our bodies and the reaction our bodies are having, because we believe not only the psyche is dreaming, but the body is dreaming.
Absolutely.
So when Matt says that, I start feeling more at home. I go, oh, wow, yeah. I believe we're being dreamed. I might as well just go over my edge, we say, in process work. In fact, the presentation I'm giving in Zurich is how Denver dreamed world work to happen last year. And I've got little postcards. World work happened here last year. I've got little postcards about that, so you can just kind of see a little bit more about my organization and what world work as a whole is. So this is, to me, this is my after-work dream this evening, and I'm starting to get comfortable in it. Does anybody have dreams that they get really freaked out about? Yeah. What freaks you out? What's your name?
Will.
Hey, Will, what freaks you out about certain dreams?
Well, like part of the reason why I came was because I got this email saying, and it said, do you have really vivid dreams that affect you the whole day? And as far as I know, like I'm the only one of my friends that has that, and like for me, like my dream life has always been like almost equal to my like waking life, and there's always been this really, really strong sort of dream world with me that, and I'll have like almost like prophetic dreams, although kind of in weird ways where like I'll just see places before I've been there, and like and also I've read like Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about how the body processes our mind, and so I thought that was kind of cool, and that's kind of what made me want to come here.
Cool.
But honestly, what freaks me out mostly is just kind of the synchronicities of dreams,
Right.
I guess.
Yes.
It's not like a bad freak out, it's just kind of a
Like, whoa.
mini freak out.
Yeah, that's how I ended up here. When I was a little kid, I kept having dreams, and then they would happen. And I would go, this feels really weird to me. And I'd had an aunt who had been institutionalized for psychosis. And so very early in my life, I started on a journey of finding out what the psyche was doing, because I had this family myth that maybe I would end up with a psychosis if I didn't understand everything that was going on in the unconscious. So even the way I met Arnie was a synchronicity, because he used to come here. Arnie Mindell. Does everybody know that
That's
name?
short for Arnold.
Yes, Arnold Mindell. Arnie. You can go to their website. Actually, Nick put up a little piece of that old Mishlove interview. That was like way back in the 80s, I think. Yeah, it's early on, but it's still, you know, very worthwhile. But what happened is Arnie used to come to the mountains here and do workshops, and at that time he was a Jungian analyst in Zurich. And before he became a Jungian analyst in Zurich, he was a MIT, I want to say psychologist, physicist. So he was very interested in the crossover between physics and psychology. So he came here for trainings for people, and they would do them up in the mountains. They would also do them in the mountains in Switzerland. So he really liked, you know, just going clear up high, you know, like we all do if we're Boulderites here, and giving these workshops. Well, at the last minute, his photographer, video camera person got ill or something, and they called me. And so I went to, you know, merely video the workshop, and I was completely blown away, because I had been interested in since I was a little tiny kid. So I was just in the right place at the right time, had the right synchronicity line up for me, and I became one of the earliest people in the States that was trained in process-oriented psychology. I was very relieved about that because I was headed to become a formal union analyst. And I think if I wouldn't have met Arnie, my path would have been into a more traditional analytic mode. Unions, my experience about formal union analysis, which I've had 2 formal union analysis myself, one for 7 years and one for 5 years, is that interpretation is really important. Where in process work, we're very interested in the experience of what's unfolding in the moment. So that's all I want to say right now. I'm also really interested in what other people think about dreams. You think about dreams, don't you? Do you?
Yeah.
I was just looking at your signals rather than your articulating it, so sorry to put you on the spot. Are
That's
you
all
okay
right.
saying a couple of things?
Yeah, I mean, let's
What's
see.
your name?
My name's Dana.
Hey, Dana.
So my experience with dreams, I tend to have a lot of dreams where people are trying to kill me.
Uh-huh.
Those are usually the ones that I remember.
Right.
But it's funny because you asked if we have dreams that freak us out, and they don't really. But you think that a dream about someone trying to kill you would be scary, but
Mhm.
I think I've just had so many of them. I'm just like numb to it.
Right.
But I've noticed that I have them when I'm really stressed out.
Mhm.
So there's definitely that kind of aspect of
Right.
feeling off
Something's
some
after
part of
you.
me or
Sorry to interrupt, I just killed your sentence.
that's
I
right.
apologize.
Well, there's the idea that something's after me, but there's also like the idea that at least that what I've talked to some people about, the idea that I'm killing off a part of myself that's like not good or whatever.
Did that resonate with you when someone said that to you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
You know, because there are lots of different camps around dreams. But if somebody hits the nail on the head with you, you go, oh yeah, that's the deal. Also like dreams that are synchronicities, dreams that are a bit scary, they do keep our attention more than say, I don't know, cozy dreams or dreams just to nestle into, right? What?
I don't have a lot of
You don't
cozy
have a
dreams.
lot of those. Okay. Well, anybody else want to hop in the Potter?
So it's interesting you said that because I, especially recently, and I'm pregnant, which I find makes dreams incredibly more vivid. Like I already have a vivid dreamer,
What's your name?
Katie,
Hey, Katie.
and when I'm pregnant, they get really crazy.
Ah.
And I'm usually killing things or people in my dreams, which is really it's me, which is really wild. And like hiding bodies, and then I'm like, and I'm always like, no one will ever suspect that I've killed somebody. because
Exactly.
I never would, but in my dreams I'm constantly, not constantly, but I've had many dreams of killing people, and I always wake up like.
I like that you laugh.
So, because it's so bizarre. I mean, I'm like, I'm a doula and I'm a childbirth educator, and like, I mean, I'm all about life, so it's just a very bizarre contradiction to be killing and burying.
Do you all know who Stan Brakhage is? The experimental filmmaker? No. Wow, he's from Boulder too. That's
Very
like-
young crowd.
Yeah, must be. The reason I bring him in is that he did a film once where he ran a birthing process backwards, and it freaked everybody out. It was sort of like, oh my God, no, that is not okay.
And it must look like you're killing it.
Well, it's that, in Jungian psychology, they would say the devouring mother is an archetype that's very frightening to most people, okay? So it has that quality. But okay, this brings in another process perspective, which is we identify with certain things. You identify with being a doula. What